Are you saying things like we need to upsize or downsize our living quarters? Or we need to move closer to the kids and sell our house? Or maybe I or we need to sell the house and move into an assisted living facility? Hello, I'm Joe Rosen, president of Parkinson's Resource Organization, and we're here to bring you things to know right now. And I am really excited to be introducing you to a man who has some answers on the questions that I've just asked. He's familiar with Parkinson's, which is part of why he's invited into the Wellness Village. And please welcome John Sloan. John, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Please tell the audience a little bit about you.
Well, I am a real estate agent for the past 16 years. And before that, I managed radio and TV stations for 25. I've been married to my wife, Paula, for 46 years. She's been putting
Wow.
up with me that long. And I have 4 adult children, and one daughter has 3 kids, and my 2 other sons each have 1 daughter. And then I have a son in China who's actually teaching English.
Well, I hope he's safe.
And I've been here in the desert for the past 21 years.
How nice. How nice to welcome you here. I beat you at that. I'm here for 30, but we love the heat, and that's what keeps us here, I think, partly.
Yep.
Well, so we now have coronavirus along with us, and I know because I've talked to you, but let's tell our audience, what are some of the things that you've had to change in buying and selling houses?
Well, first and foremost, our job is to make sure that everybody is protected, whenever we're out there showing properties. One of the things that we've done is we put gloves on, we wear our mask, we put our booties on. Some sellers are actually opening up the cabinets and the doors for us so that when a buyer walks in, they don't have to touch a darn thing. So everybody is pretty safe. And generally, what I like to do is let the buyers go in the house and take a look at it. I don't even really need to be there with them, and they could take their time. But obviously, that has changed the complexion of how we do real estate. And the fact is that there are still properties going on the market every day. There are still properties going into escrow. And it's just a matter of making sure that everybody is taken care of from a protection standpoint.
I'm so glad to hear that. And I think that there are some virtual tours going on as well.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, this last listing that I ended up, we did drone shots actually inside the house. We did the virtual tour, and we do what we call a walkthrough, which is very similar to a virtual tour, but it allows you to walk in every single room, turn around, look up at the ceiling, look at the floors, and all the surroundings. It really does make it a lot easier. And then we also do some Facebook Live tours as well, so that people can actually ask questions when we're walking through the property.
How very interesting. So you touched on something that obviously there's still buying and selling going on. Is this a good time to buy or sell, or should somebody be waiting until this virus is over, or what are the thoughts there?
Well, here's the thing, Joe. We all know what we know today. We know that the interest rates are still the lowest you're probably ever going to see. Number two, because there have been a number of people that tend to be a little bit scared about putting their home on the market, inventory has been reduced, which means that the sellers that have the properties on the market right now are getting the showings, and they're also getting their properties put into escrow. So the answer from a buyer standpoint is, why not take advantage of the low interest rates? And from a seller, take advantage of the fact that you may be one of only a couple of homes similar to yours on the marketplace. And that means that somebody's going to take a look at your home because the other ones aren't on the market.
Very interesting concept. It's nice to get this insight. So if somebody is downsizing right now, and because you're familiar with the Parkinson's world, I can ask you this question, and I have a feeling you'll come up with some good answers. But if they're downsizing right now, are there some things they should be considering?
Well, one of the things that I have found, especially with people that have moved here from, let's say LA or Orange County, they have bigger homes there. They come to the desert, they downsize. And then they find out that after they've downsized that they wish they didn't downsize. But for the people that really do need to, number one, save money, number two, don't need as much space as what they typically have, there are plenty of opportunities for them to downsize into smaller properties. And especially if you are an elderly individual, Sun City, Shadow Hills, Trilogy, Heritage Palms. I mean, there's some great places that, are very comfortable living places that you could downsize to.
I like that. And knowing the desert, that is true. And I am sure that other communities have similar type localities for them to think about as well. So now,
Yes, yep.
and you alluded to something where you say, yeah, you come to the desert and downsize, and then you think, maybe I shouldn't have, maybe I need that bigger house. So what are we thinking about there as far as upscaling then, or scaling up?
Well, when people come here, they think that they're going to pretty much retire and just kind of hang around. Well, when you get to the desert, you find out that there's a lot of things to do, and there's a lot of people that like to interact with each other. So all of a sudden now you've got a different group of friends, and you'd like to have those friends over, but maybe you don't have as much space as what you really want for that kind of entertainment. And so we're seeing people, not upgrade significantly, but, maybe if they have a 1,500 square foot house, they might go up to 1,800. Or if they're in an 1,800, they might go to a 2,100 square foot house.
Really interesting. So you talked a little bit about the financing and the lowest interest rates we've ever seen. But so we have low interest rates. Are there a lot of lenders out there?
Oh, there's plenty of lenders out there. Matter of fact, right now with the low interest rates, the lenders are doing a tremendous amount of refis at this point in time. Not as many purchases, but much more refis. And especially during this COVID-19 scenario, people are home. They're taking a look at their situation a little bit harder than they normally have. And they're taking a look and saying, oh, I might be able to save some money on my mortgage payment. So they're taking a look at that and using that as an opportunity to put a little bit more money in their pocket.
And that's true. I mean, so it's refinancing or taking out a second. Do they still do that? Take out a second on their home? I don't know.
Yeah, they do. Yes.
Okay.
And also you have reverse mortgages that people are taking advantage of as well. Typically, you have to have somewhere around 45 to 50% equity in your property, but you might be able to walk away without making a payment for the rest of your life. But it is a negative amortization loan, meaning instead of the loan being paid off and going down, it actually goes up because you're not making a payment. But a lot of people are doing that, especially if they don't really care about leaving an estate to the family.
Very interesting concept. I know that we're going to cover that down the line with reverse mortgage people. So, but thank you for bringing it up, because all of that is so critically important when we talk about real estate, owning a home, and having Parkinson's disease. That planning issue has to come in all different aspects. And so when you do plan, whether you're moving up, down, or selling and moving into assisted living, you want to make sure that you're talking to someone who really has some tremendous experience in the buying and selling area. So John, is there anything in that area that you might tell somebody what they're looking for in the way of a broker or a realtor?
Well, one of the interesting statistics is that people only interview one agent 72% of the time. Just one agent.
Okay.
Which means that in a weak moment, you might hire a weak agent. And you need to be asking several questions. Number one, how long have you been in the business? Number two, how many transactions have you done? Tell us a little bit about some of the people that you've done business with. How about some testimonials of some people that you've recently sold a house or helped them buy a home? And also ask them for a list of the vendors that they use, because people need help with maybe carpet cleaning, it could be plumbing, it could be tile work, just a variety of things. After being in the business for 16 years here in real estate, we know a lot of vendors that we've used, and we know where the good ones are. Those are the types of questions and information that you need to be asking an agent. You need to go a little bit deeper than just saying, oh, you're a realtor. Great. I want to sell my house. Number one, you got to make sure that you're pricing the property correctly. And you also need a very solid marketing plan. And I provide that.
And I know you do. And it's why I love having you around. And I want to thank you for the help that you've given to the people we've sent to you. And there's one I have to talk to you about today as well. But thank you so much. Is there anything else you might like to add for our audience to know?
No, the last thing I'd like to say is this. I really like the whole concept of the wellness village, and I've met some nice people that are also part of the organization. One of the things that I will do is if anybody refers business to me or does business with me, I'm going to give 10% of my commission to the Parkinson's Resource Organization. And I want to continue to help try to find a cure for this disease.
Oh, John, that just makes my heart sing. It makes me almost cry. Actually, tears are welling up. So I cannot tell you what that means to me, to us, to the organization, and to the Parkinson's world. So totally appreciate you.
You're very welcome.
For those of you listening, you can watch the newsletter and find John Sloan's articles in the newsletter from time to time. You can also find him at our village meetings, which we launched in the month of April, Parkinson's Awareness Month. These are virtual meetings where our wellness villagers have an opportunity to talk to you, but you have an opportunity to ask questions and get answers. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, John Sloan, for being a participant today and for being in the Wellness Village and being in my sphere of influence. Thank you so much.
Anything we could do to help out, Joe, appreciate it. You're running a great organization, and I only wish you the best.
You're wonderful. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
All righty. Thanks, Joe.